Another week, another promo. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't think this week would be up to much. We got a very slow start to the week with not much about season 2, which made me really sad because season 2 is easily my favourite season out of all of them. It did make me think that maybe it was because for season 1 they're going to go all out because it's the first season. They're trying to get people into the promo to make them remember that it's coming soon because obviously we've had zero promo for so long. But I was so wrong because this was the week for bylers. Like, season 2 is the byler season, in my opinion, and it really proved it in this promo. So I'm going to speak through everything we've got this week, any sort of important merch releases, and everything that could tell us things about season 5. So before we start on the Monday, again, this is going to be in UK time zones because obviously I'm from the UK, so it might be different in your country. But literally, like half an hour after I filmed my last week 1 summary promo video, they brought out the core 4 posters. They're really cool with the upside down 5 either side and then the older version of their character versus season 1 version of their character. And to see how much they've grown is really cute. But also, the thing that made me sort of want to consider them a bit further was the choice of quotes that they put in the caption. So, for Mike and Dustin, they both had L related quotes. So Dustin's was "she's our friend and she's crazy," which is quite like a typical season 1 quote. And then Mike's was "you're not the monster, you saved me," which sort of seems a bit like there's so many better Mike quotes from season 1. Like, if you're going for like typical season 1 quotes, you could have "if anyone asks where I am, I've left the country." Like, that's such an iconic Mike line, but they had both of them have a line about Elle, which makes me think that maybe they're reminding us that it's how important Elle is for how they're going to defeat Vecna. And then for Will and Lucas, they both had a line relating to Will. So Lucas had Fireball him in reference to Will in the D&D game when he sort of has to come up against the Demogorgon, and then Will's was "it was a 7" in reference to his role. So this makes me think that they're pushing that in addition to 11 facing Vecna, Will is also going to have to face Vecna, and also reminding us of how much the D&D games reflect what happens in real life. So again, I go back to this point all the time, but the role in season 4 in the Hellfire campaign when Dustin rolled an 11 and failed, and Erica rolled a 20 and didn't. So I definitely think that Elle's going to need help from Will this season, and I really hope that Will actually gets his powers, because I was a willpower anti, but now I actually really like it. So then on Monday, we had the same thing as we did last week, whereas a magazine cover introducing the season 2 promo and what's going to happen. So we had Sadie and Caleb on the cover advertising a Lumax reaction, which they're pushing Lumax a lot more as the main ship. Season 2, there's quite a few, like, even I'd consider like cute Malevolent moments. And if they're the main ship of the show, like, don't you think that we should be advertising them reacting to a scene? But no, it was Sadie and Caleb, which makes me think. And then even more Byler centered, in the quote in the corner, which last week it was about the Curiosity Voyage, it was "let's go crazy together." Again, a reference to season 2 Byler. And this is just reminding the general audience of this quote, because this might not be in their minds as much as it's in my mind, which is pretty much every day. And it just made me so excited because they're trying to remind people of this pivotal scene, this pivotal line, which I reckon they must reference it in season 5, because otherwise, why would it be in the key bit of promo introducing the entire week and there not be any sort of Malevolent hint? I really think that this is them in their only way pushing Byler without it seeming like a spoiler. Then we had a clip on their Instagram of Sadie and Jamie talking about doing a season 2 rewatch. I thought this was a bit of an odd combination of people to get to do that video, whether they wanted Jamie to just do something this season, or I think it might be a hint that Vecna is involved in season 2 a lot more than we think. Obviously, the Mind Flayer is the big bad of everything. It controls Vecna, it controls the Demogorgons, but I really think that this means that Vecna had something to do with season 2 and that we need to keep a closer eye out, especially because the Strange Things writers on their Twitter account said that we should rewatch season 2 ahead of season 5. So again, it's going to be really, really important for the new season. And then we move on to Tuesday, and again, the first thing we got this day was the Butcher Billy posters. I'm going to go through the ones that I think tell us something significant. So the first significant one is Chapter 1 Mad Max. So this shows the boys when they're playing Dragon's Lair, and all of their faces are exaggerated from the original scene, apart from Mike's. And this is a bit suspicious. And obviously, we have the picture of the warrior from Dragon's Lair, the skeleton, with the sword. Now, this makes me think, because the sword is obviously associated with Mike, his character in D&D is a paladin, and as we've seen in Will's painting and sort of just general promo and merch around the show, he's with a sword a lot of the time. So I think this could perhaps hint to us in season 5 how he maybe sees himself in that warrior, wants to be a warrior, protecting Princess Daphne, who he wasn't interested in season 2. And his Princess Daphne is going to be Will, and he's going to use a sword because I really, really, really want Mike to use a sword. And it's just, he needs to have some sort of weapon that isn't a candlestick, and we'll come on to that later. Don't worry. And then we have Chapter 3, the Pollywog. So by Dustin's arm, on all these posters are lots of little pink lines, but in the corner by Dustin's arm, it kind of looks like an eye. And we know that eyes have been used in the past as symbolism for Vecna or the Mind Flayer watching the conversation. So that makes me think that maybe Vecna, again, was more of a significant part of season 2 and was watching maybe Elle at that time and even Will through the Mind Flayer. And then we have Chapter 6, The Spy, and this is a quote from the previous episode, and it's part of a byler conversation where Mike reassures Will that they won't let him spy back and holds his hand, which I just had to mention, which I know you'll all appreciate. And then we have Chapter 9, The Gate, and I thought some of these quotes are like weird choices for the current theme of that episode. So this quote was, "I never gave up on you," which is obviously Mike speaking to 11, which this genuinely is an anti-Team 11. Like, I think this is quite cute, but it seems a bit strange to include it in Chapter 9 because the overall thing is defeating the Mind Flayer. So this makes me think that maybe in season 5 we can't give up on 11 just because she failed in season 4, and sort of we've been waiting for her to get her powers back, being able to go back to full strength. And I definitely think, again, this hints towards season 5 because it's a bit of a weird quote to use. Then we had Gaten and Joe reacting to Dustin and Steve on the train track, and I love this scene, and also it's made me really happy that they confirmed that they all saw Joe as like an older brother in the earlier seasons, which is really cute, and I love the little family dynamic they've got going on this show. And then we also had Sadie and Caleb reacting to the trick or treat invitation. And again, I'm just going to confirm we have Lumat's reactions, but we don't have 11 reactions, do we? So I think that's good news for us. And I love this reaction because it shows how much thought Caleb puts into Lucas's character of the eye rub. And also it's made me really excited for more Lucas and Dustin scenes in season 5 because he said that he loves working with Gaten. And also I just love Sadie's reactions because I really think she's a really underrated member of the cast and I just love her. Then we move on to Wednesday. So on Wednesday we got a TikTok from the Strange Things account saying what's the Strange Things quote that lives in your head rent free. There are only 4 quotes in the TikTok, and one of them is, "If we go crazy, then we'll go crazy together," right? Which again, they are shoving that quote down our throats. They really want the general audience who might have forgotten about that scene and how pivotal it was to remember it. They're really wanting to show how important Will and Mike are to each other and just how much they mean to each other and how important that is going to be for season 5. We haven't actually got a reaction to the Crazy Together scene, which again makes me think that they might do a reference to it in season 5. They might do a little callback, speak about themselves as crazy when they both admit their feelings and that they're actually going to be together and happy. And I just think they wouldn't be using this quote so much in promo if it didn't mean something. And also, since they didn't react to it, it also implies that there's something more hidden in that scene that we're yet to see in season 5. And then Joe was given his bat, and he said that it was originally Jonathan's, which makes me really happy because so many people think it was originally Steve's, but it wasn't. And then we got Caleb, Sadie, and Joe reacting to the car scene. It's hilarious, and I love hearing about the behind the scenes and Steve's improv of Nancy. And then we have the most exciting point of the week, and that is Gaten and Finn reacting to the Malevolent reunion scene. I have so much to say about this. First of all, let's bring back to Sadie and Caleb reacting to their own scenes and speaking about how cute Lumax are. But the supposed main ship of the show don't do that. Millie isn't even there to react to this supposed pivotal Malevolent scene. And a lot of bylers speak about if they had to pick out a Malevolent scene, this would be a cute scene. So if any Malevolent scene should be reacted to, it should be this one. But they didn't. They didn't react to it in any sort of romantic light at all. And if Malevolent was supposed to be Endgame and guaranteed, as lots of people say it is, then why isn't Millie there? And why aren't they talking about this pivotal scene and how it sort of has helped their relationship grow and sort of how it's a really important part of season 2 and moving on to the snowball where Elle was being able to be a regular teenage girl just for one night. But no, they didn't do that. What we had instead was Gaten actually speaking about the scene in a really nice, sweet way. And then we have Finn, who said, oh, 11's here. And then moves straight on to oh, Steve's who's that? And then we have the candlestick, which he does not shut up about. The entire scene commentary is Gaten trying to do something to sort of comment on 11 and Finn just talking about his candlestick, how it's so funny he had this candlestick, how there was a joke that he might have it in season 5, which makes me really happy because then this is confirmed that Mike is having a weapon in season 5. And again, like I said, I really, really want it to be a sword, but I'm just happy for Mike to get in on the action because he's been put off to the side for so long. But yeah, he really, really loves speaking about his candlestick and did not speak about Malevolent and what their reunion meant when they were literally looking at each other, so pleased to see each other. I'm pretty sure he was either speaking about how fun it was to film with everyone else or the candlestick. So, Malevolent bones, in my opinion, and Byler. And then we move on to a TikTok with Caleb and Sadie where they talk about their favourite Lumax scenes. Again, just going to quickly say this. They're not the main couple, supposedly, and Malevolent hasn't done this. But anyway, I love hearing them speak about it. But they were in front of a door that said WSQK. This might be at the hospital and they might sort of be advertising it there. But also, I really think that it might be at the radio station. And obviously, Max is still in her hospital gown. From just under the coat, you can see that Caleb's trousers are sort of a beige colour. The same colour as his trousers when he has the WSQK sweatshirt on when he's with Max, saving her from the Demodog. So I think that he could carry her there. Or hopefully she woke up in the hospital and they've both moved there in a rush. I really hope that's the case. So on Thursday, they announced a bunch of fan events around the world. They haven't said when they are yet, but I would definitely be going to the London one if I can. And then they had the Core 4 recreating them playing Dragon's Lair again, like they did at a con a while ago. And they're all in their promo outfits, and Finn still has his really shaved head. So this proves to me that they Core 4 are going to have some promo together, which I'm really excited about because I love their dynamic and sort of they're going to have at least one interview together because they wouldn't get everyone together just for that. And then we also had Natalia and Gaten reacting to Nancy and Dustin dancing at the snowball, and it's such a sweet scene. And then on Friday, we got a video of Finn being passed a proton pack from the Core 4's Ghostbusters outfit, which is just really cute. But also, from the straps, you can tell it's Will's proton pack. It's not Mike's. And Noah was given the Demogorgon, which is a prop of Mike's. So they're both giving each other's props. And again, this shows how intertwined their characters are and how important it is that they're going to stick together for season 5. Then we had Noah reacting to Bob's death, which is heartbreaking, and also him saying that Will needed a dad and Bob was a really good dad to him. It just made me so sad because I love Bob even more on rewatches. And then we had Steve speaking about, well, Joe speaking about how Steve's been labeled the mother of the group, but also in the background, he was speaking in the lab. And I think this is relating to, in the very first behind the scenes we got, he's in a red tinted room. It looks like the lab, and he's got some cuts on his face. So I think this is pre injury, and I think he's with Dustin at this point. And also Jonathan and Nancy, but they'll be off somewhere else in the lab, and they would have got split up and in danger from some demo creatures. And then on Friday, we also got some merch news, which is very exciting. So, the WSQK collection vinyl was leaked, and we could see some of the songs on there. Again, I like that we're getting something other than the soundtrack to tell us what songs might be in there. So, one of the songs is I Think We're Alone Now, which it has to be to do with Byler, or maybe Robin and Vicky, which I'd also really love because I can't imagine any other context that would happen. I can imagine Mike and Will just being in a room together. They're not even sort of close to getting together at this point, but Robin's clocked them and starts playing I Think We're Alone Now on the radio because obviously she's in charge of WSQK, their specific station. So there's nothing stopping her from doing that, and it's such a Robin move. And then we have the Magnificent Seven by The Clash. This again sort of proves to me that Will and Jonathan's shared music taste is going to be quite important this season, and we're sort of going to have to be constantly keeping Will safe and making sure that he's got a way out of Vecna's like hold. But also, the Magnificent Seven just makes me think that there's going to be a group of 7 of them, and they're going to do something, and that's going to be the backing of it. And then we also have Bicycle Race by Queen. This is obviously going to be used when they're on their bikes, and I really hope that they they do this in a non-tacky way because it could be so tacky so easy. I think the best way to do this is in the first episode when obviously I think it will be Mike, Will and Holly riding their bikes. I think that's going to be the first episode, and you can see the radio attached to Mike, so I think that's when it will play and they'll be cycling to school, and then it will play, and also over it Robin will be like, good morning Hawkins, like welcome to and it will sort of be like a montagey kind of thing. We also have Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 by Pink Floyd, which is the anti-conformity song, which makes me really happy because they're really pushing anti-conformity still, and forced conformity won't be killing the kids anymore. And I just think that's what Stranger Things has always been about. It's always been about the outcast. So I'm really pleased, even when they have a mainstream audience, that they're still sticking with that. And then we have Wheel in the Sky by Journey as well, which is the last song that we know about, but there will be more songs on the record. And then on Saturday, we got Charlie speaking about Jonathan's speech about being a freak and how sort of a lot of fans bring it up to him. And again, I just love this. It's exactly what Stranger Things is about. It's about being an outcast. It's about not feeling like you fit in, but when watching the show, it does feel like you fit in, which I love so much. And then obviously we had Stranger Saturday. The blank tape turned out to just be the episode, which is kind of disappointing. But also, I didn't really, as weird as it sounds, I didn't really want the trailer yet. I like this build up, and I definitely think we're going to get it at the end of October, early November. And I can't wait to find out some of the actual proper plot beyond the plot synopsis that leaked. The episode we watched was Will the Wise, which proves to me Will Byers' main character season. And also, I love that I didn't realise how many people loved Will Byers, so it makes me really happy. And then after that, they released the season 2 rewatch on YouTube, and they reacted to a bunch of scenes, which I think they should have peppered a few more throughout the week talking about season 2. They didn't. So they rewatched, and I'm going to read this from the list because there's too many for me to remember. Sadie reacting to Max's introduction, Noah and Charlie reacting to Will and Jonathan's talk about being a freak. I love their relationship with each other. They're just the perfect brothers. And then we have Priya reacting to Erica making fun of Lucas when he's in the Ghostbuster costume. Cara reacting to Karen taking photos of Mike. Caleb, Gaten and Finn reacting to everyone making fun of them in their Ghostbuster outfits. I stand by my statement last week. They are the best trio reactors. They are just so funny and I love it. Finn and Sadie reacting to Mike watching Max skateboard, and Sadie talking about how much she would love Mike and Max's friendship just makes me really happy. Like, she's a mad wheeler friendship truther, and as she should be. And also speaking about how she was scared of Malevins. Like, I just feel so sorry for this little, like, 13-year-old girl, which I was that age at that time, but it's still weird to think about. And then we have Millie reacting to Elle reaching out to her mum, Noah and Finn reacting to Will opening up to Mike about his now memories. Again, this is very exciting. It was very short. They cut it off even before the handhold, which again makes me think that there's hidden meaning behind this scene and that we need to watch season 5 to properly appreciate it. And I really hope we get some byler scene reactions after season 5 when they are made canon. I think that'd be so cool. And then we have Natalia and Charlie reacting to Jancy comparing their scars. And then Brett and Charlie reacting to Jancy getting murrayed, which I really enjoyed watching. Such an iconic scene. Millie reacting to Elle's makeover from Carly, which again was really short. Caleb, Gaten, and Finn reacting to them figuring out the hive mind. And I find it really funny that they were commenting on the fandom at the time because I so vividly remember this. That was the first season obviously, that I was like proper obsessed with Strange Things before it came out. And them saying that every 14-year-old wants to look like Finn. I can confirm that. Yeah, I wanted to look like Finn at that time. And then we have Noah reacting to Will getting the Mind Flayer burnt out of him. And he mentioned that they're filming in that cabin now, which makes me really excited and makes me think that maybe Will's teaming up with Eleven to try and sort of harness his true sight and be able to defeat Vecna more easily. And then finally we have Gaten reacting to Dustin with Dart in the tunnels. And finally, we have Will and Mike's D&D dice packs that were released. These were released earlier in the week, I just forgot to mention them. But all the characters have a dice pack, and both Mike and Will's are blue and yellow, aka confirming that this is their couple's colour scheme, because Elle's is red and has nothing to do with Mike's. So this just makes me really happy, and again, confirms that the colour theory is right. So that was my rundown of week 2 promo for Stranger Things 5, which went through season 2. Again, season 2 is my favourite season, so I really loved all the promo that was happening this week. And I really hope that next week we get a bunch of good reactions. We get a lot of Robin content because I love Robin. And I just have really high hopes. So I will see you guys next week. Bye!